Due to the following CBS School Break special, Magnum PI will not be seen today. It will be broadcast tomorrow in the regular time period.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners. Now available to order at your local comic shop, it's Sal Abenanti's new graphic novel, The Hostage.
Hostage is set in the streets of Rio de Janeiro, based on the plight of the street children that live in the favelas. In the world of the graphic novel, being murdered daily, and the hostage is the evil spirit that is raised to avenge their death. Origins go all the way back to the indigenous tribes of the Amazon as the spirits that protect children, especially murdered children. Level of death that these kids have to endure every day. They have nowhere to sleep. They have no place to eat. They have to survive off of begging. There were nobody in capes that were coming to save these kids.
Pick up Sal Abenanti's latest graphic novel, The Hostage. Order now at your local comic shop through Diamond's Previews catalog. Code DEC221534. Welcome back, everybody. It's time again for Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Suntress here. Always happy to welcome Paul Cornell back to Word Balloon. Good to see you, man.
It's delightful to be here. Thank you, John.
Always a pleasure, man, and truly so excited about your current projects. And I'm scrolling right now to get to the one that dropped on BBC Radio 4. It's Splinter Cell, Firewall, a brand new military intelligence espionage story that you co-wrote. 8 episodes. Now, they're dropping every Friday live on BBC 4, but you can also jump ahead. All 8 episodes are available now on bbc.co.uk/sounds. I want to make sure I got that right, Paul.
Well, yeah, if you search for BBC Splinter Cell, you'll find it. And I got to say, this is available for free wherever you are in the world. All 8 episodes, as you said, are downloadable. Please go on.
I was going to praise you but I do want to get more details from you. It sounds so great. It's that binaural, immersive kind of way that they, you go to the movie theaters now, and a gunshot happens on the left and it ricochets on the right and it zooms across you and stuff. That's the vibe you get from listening to Splinter Cell with earbuds. It is a true audio delight, and it's so well written and, well done. But please tell me more.
Well, thank you. It's set in the world of the Tom Clancy Splinter Cell video games. It's an adaptation of a novel by James Swallow that's set in that world. And myself and Sebastian have co-written the adaptation. Basically, it's got the sound effects from the games. It's got the music cues from the games. If you're a gamer, this is being inside that world. And we've got a stellar cast for this. Sacha Dhawan is in this. Will Poulter is playing our villain. It's really, really a leap forward. And as you've said, it's an immersive soundscape. So I think really this is going to appeal to gamers. We've had the most amazing reaction to this. We were chatting before the show. I know that you're a fan of old-time radio drama.
Absolutely.
That's a tradition, as you said, that in Britain never went away. And so we've still got stuff like this. And these days, with audio taking off once again as a medium everywhere, now is the time for stuff like this, for cutting-edge, young action drama that puts you right in the middle of the action. And also it's free at the point of delivery. What else do you want?
Truly, man, like about 4 hours, the full 8 episodes. And yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing that Christ, in the 70s and 80s, when things were on vinyl, I'd be happy to buy, but it's free. And as you said, Paul, it's really as modern as current audio drama has gotten. And as a veteran yourself of writing for Big Finish and doing Doctor Who audio dramas, Bernie Summerfield,
Bernice.
shame on me, Bernice, of course. No, creating that character and all the great audio that you've written over the years. Do you feel like you have to up your game? I mean, I'm sure you do always in approaching a new project, but really, I mean, I've never the level of engineering on the audio side is now matching the great writing and everything. But yeah, how do you feel about today's modern drama escape?
Well, it's terrific, and I went to see it being recorded, and the process of recording is interesting too. Now we're talking about actors actually in studio during the physical action. Some of these guys were actually holding each other and grabbing each other and wrestling each other.
Wow.
We've got the space and the mic technology to get right in there for that stuff, to really make it feel like you're in the midst of the grapple. And also we've got a number of different ethnicities involved here. We've got somebody from the Ukraine involved. We've got basically it's a diverse cast. It's an appropriate cast for the subject matter. And it's a very, very modern story about a billionaire with a high-tech new weapon that is in the form of an app. And
it's the best way to deliver these days. Absolutely, man. You sucker people in with an app, and it's like, yeah, this is what's really good. I think you just described TikTok. Oh my!
I just realised that I got the line "Let it sink in" there. Wow, but it's
well done, man. It's truly you guys have really and again, you were coming from a novel, but I think you've made a very exciting military espionage drama. It's under the thriller category, rightfully so. I love Strike Force. And now I'm blanking. Shame on me. The military man, that the British Tom Clancy.
Oh yes. Now you're asking. Was it?
Sorry, man. I know
the one who was in the SAS. That
right.
one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And Strike Force and Red Cap, or I think, or Red Hat. Another one of his military. Shame on us. All right, maybe someone may respond in the chat, but or may pop in our brains while we're talking. But I love stuff like that. I loved what The Unit was, an American military intelligence show from the early aughts. And, we have SEAL Team 6 now and a lot of other shows. I really do. I appreciate the genre. And it shows that we're in a new world when it does come to military intelligence and operations. And I love it. And yeah, this is just very much of the moment, this series.
I think so. I think we've really caught something here. And I had a lovely moment. The way that radio drama punches through. I went just to pick up my little boy from school, and in the playground, I saw somebody listening to their phone with earbuds. And I leaned over, and they were listening to it. It was going out right then, and I actually did it. I nudged them, and I said, "Oh, I'll be writing episode 3 of that," and because I'm doing 3, 4, 7, and 8, and Bastian's doing the other 4.
Right.
And he looked between me and it and said, "No, really? Yeah. The BBC for you. There we are."
Do a lot of your son's friends, do they know about your Doctor Who lineage and nerd stuff that you do?
They do, but it's primary school, so they're it's kind of the wrong age group for my stuff. But I think Thomas knows. I'm not sure he cares, but I think he knows.
How about the Marvel comics and other comics, including Saucer Country, that we're going to be talking about in a slight bit?
Well, I wouldn't want him reading Saucer Country at his age, but no, I mean that's the lovely thing, isn't it? That you're actually. I've got an enormous comic collection in long boxes back there in the spare room, and I kind of have said to Thomas, "Oh no, that's Daddy's special thing. You mustn't go in there." But it's not working yet.
Oh, nice, outstanding, man.
I hope one day to find him amongst those long boxes, but the hour has not yet come.
And again, this is already written. It's already produced, everybody. And again, it's free. It is available now to download anywhere. It's free at BBC Sounds, and or as Paul said, bbc.co.uk. Just search for Splinter Cell Firewall, and you'll find it. Mm-hmm. And have you are you in the midst of, and you don't have to spoil if you can't say, but are you in the midst of doing any more new radio dramas?
We're certainly talking about what the way forward's going to be. I think we'll need to see what the reaction to this one is. But judging by the reaction so far, it seems to be going gangbusters.
Who's your production company for this?
Well, it's the BBC themselves.
Go ahead.
Cooperation from Ubisoft, the games company.
Yeah, the game company, certainly.
Who've plugged us into all the assets, and it's been a wonderfully smooth process with a brilliant BBC production team, and you just you get that wonderful level of BBC professionalism, and that especially seeing the director, my old friend Nadia Molinari, who I've done 2 radio plays with before. Working with actors, it's always a joy to behold, because she encourages them to find depth. She encourages them to improvise and add stuff, and you get that feeling of proper presence, proper being in the midst of a play.
After, as I was telling you off the air, after a long slumber, I think from a big company standpoint, I remember CBS did a mystery theater anthology that ran until like 80 or 81, somewhere around there. And it's taken about 40 years for all the big companies over here on this side of the Atlantic to get interested again in audio drama. Yeah. But now we're seeing it. And I was wondering, because I know a lot of our friends are actually over here writing some audio as well as doing their comics and everything. Has DC or Marvel, have you had any talks?
Not about this. I think that there's a whole, there's that whole wave of superhero related audio, and of course Neil led the way with the Sandman at Audible.
Yes, indeed.
But I think Audible kind of claimed a territory that the big broadcasters used to have a bit of, as you say, and I think them getting back into this is quite a big deal, and the BBC making something that will have this worldwide reach to an audience who perhaps hasn't tried audio drama before. That's so important.
Well, it's always amazing, all the different UK countries that do their own individual audio production. I was a big fan of, I believe it was a Scottish production. Now I'm going to P-Division.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. It was such a great police procedural. Mm. Oh man, I just adored it. And of course, going way back, Hitchhikers, certainly Douglas Adams.
Yeah.
And the original format of Hitchhikers.
If you have a scroll through BBC Sounds, there's something geeky on BBC Radio, be it drama or documentary, virtually every week. And for fans of genre who want something to put in their earbuds, the BBC Sounds app is just essential.
Agreed, and it's amazing, Paul. They, I'm trying to do the math in my head. It seemed like over the last 30 or so years, our major networks kind of divested themselves from radio. First NBC, then currently ABC, and also my old network CBS, and they've sent their radio programming to a smaller company, and but still they use the CBS brand when appropriate. And now all of a sudden, because of the explosion of audio drama through podcasting and the BBC and the like and stuff, now, hey, wait a minute, we should do this. And it's like you had the assets to do it before.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I mean, virtually everything on BBC Talk Radio is immediately downloadable as soon as it's broadcast. So they've been running with the podcast thing for a decade now. It's just lovely to be part of it.
Well, and again, Firewall is broadcast on Fridays, Radio 4, 2:15 p.m. local time. And again, all the episodes available to download now at the BBC Sounds page on the BBC website. Great stuff, man, truly. And I always love hearing about great new audio drama. So I'm so thrilled, and I hope that this is only the beginning for more audio drama. Someone's asking a question. Hold on one second. Let's see. Hey, there we go. DC Patrol.
Oh, might I do some Big Finish non-Doctor Who there? I would never say no. I am loving their Jerry Andersons right now. I'm loving their Space 1999 and UFO. I could see myself doing a UFO one day. I wouldn't say no. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. And I also loved from their Big Finish's non-Doctor Who stuff. The Doctor Who stuff is amazing, of course, but also I really appreciated the couple seasons they did of The Prisoner. And,
yeah.
I mean, the actor. I mean, if obviously we can't get Patrick McGowan anymore, but good Lord, the guy they got was really good. And even a couple of the original stories and tweaks they made to the classic stories, they worked for me.
I thought this is dodgy. I thought before I listened, they're starting before he gets gassed and sent to the village, but then it's so apt. It works so well. And the future number 6's first line, when a guy on board a car ferry asks him if that's his car back there, and he goes, "What if it is?" And I think, oh, okay, yeah.
Paranoia is there from day one. Absolutely, man. I mean, it's crazy, Paul, and I don't know if we've talked about this before regarding The Prisoner. I distinctly know that I saw a VHS, I'm assuming it was a bootleg or whatever, here in the States, of Once Upon a Time, the I'm going to say second to last, because I hate people who use penultimate. I think it's overused. But you know what I'm saying. The 16th of 17 episodes. And Leo McKern is boiling down number 6, brainwashing him, trying to get him to say why he resigned. And at one moment, you hear in Leo McKern's voice, "Come along, Drake." And I'm like, no way, because as you know, and as the Brits who are maybe watching know, that John Drake's secret agent was Danger Man, was the series prior to Prisoner, and certainly Lord Grade wanted as much of a connection as possible.
Yeah.
But certainly McGowan was like, no, let's this is my thing, and I understand that. But I don't know. Have you ever heard such a direct?
I have not. I wonder if it's muttering. I don't know.
Maybe.
I do know that there's an episode of Danger Man where the opening titles have a young woman running down the street to find his house, and he's actually living in that flat in the Mews.
Oh wow! My God! Because I know the episode where you see a similar intelligence facility that they're keeping spies at and stuff, and I've seen, I believe was it George Markison, his collaborator on The Prisoner?
George Markstein.
Markstein, thank you, man. I mean, no, these guys are brilliant. It's literally my favorite British drama ever, and I love the way it ended, and I love having watched so many specials that were made examining The Prisoner, and just the discussions, and of course McGowan himself, what little he was willing to say about it,
Yeah. I'm loving some of these comments here. Just some
we're gonna get to them, buddy. Please. Here. Let's say Chris, I freaking love Paul Cornell. Thank you for the Time Lord Victorious scene in the Four Doctors, absolutely. And thank you for your fantastic last panel. Where were you at, Paul?
All one can say is thank you so much.
Where were you at as far as the fantastic? Oh, is that? Excuse me. Oh, he's talking about the comic. I thought it was referring to a convention.
Oh no.
And then Wesley says, I got back into comics with New 52. Demon Knights was such a highlight for me. Any chance of more medieval fantasy from you?
That's interesting. Haven't thought about it. Wouldn't say no. Wouldn't say no to more Demon Knights, honestly. But I'm always talking to the big two about stuff. So you never know. Let's see what happens. But thank you so much.
Hear, hear. Well, and shame on me, Paul. I wish I had known. I would have helped you out earlier regarding your Kickstarter for the Complete Saucer Country.
Well, we've got 48 hours left.
Okay.
Basically, it's a 400+ page softback collection. Saucer Country was a comic that I started at Vertigo. Me and Ryan Kelly, the artist, did 6 issues of it at IDW. We never got to finish it. It ended on a cliffhanger. So, thanks to Zoop, the crowdfunding company, we are going to produce a completed edition. That is to say, everything that's so far been done, plus an ending that actually ties everything together and finishes it properly. And for people who've been loyal followers all the way through and have every issue, we're also producing that ending as a separate comic. So you don't have to buy a huge issue if you just want the ending. And we've got 48 hours left. We're funded. We're approaching our first stretch goal. So we couldn't be more delighted. And it's just amazing to see new art with these characters. It's about a US presidential candidate that gets abducted by aliens. And she uses the power of the office to find out what really happened. And it's kind of an exploration of the color and depth of UFO mythology. I've been inured with this stuff since I was a kid, and it changes all the time. And there's so much to it, and so we go into depth. It's a big dive into the world of the flying saucer.
Well, I'm glad you guys have the opportunity to finish your story.
Thank you.
I don't know how many other Kickstarters you've done in the past. And excuse me, this is Zoop. It's not Kickstarter. I should.
Oh yeah, but it's my first one. I've never done this before, and it was nerve-wracking. It still is a bit. If you look up Zoop, ZOOP, Saucer Country, you'll find it. And thank you everyone who's supported it so far. It's been really heartening because basically the way I saw a crowdfunder is this is an index of how much they like you. I mean, this is putting a number from 0 to 100 on how liked the writing is. So, phew.
Yeah, but Paul, you've gathered a nice audience through your novels, through your short stories, through your comics, through your radio, through your television. I mean, and truly, I'm glad, and I'm sure it is gratifying. And you never know until you really test the market with something like this. And I mean, let me ask you, because again, this has sadly been a recurring question I've asked various people, and I don't think we ever got into it the last time we spoke. But I wonder how did COVID affect you from a creative standpoint, and did you explore other things? I love hearing your kid background, by the way.
I'm sorry.
No. I swear, Paul, that wasn't a knock. That's legitimate. No, I love it. It's real.
He's got his Thomas the Tank engines on the landing just outside the door. Well, honestly, I got really focused during COVID. I had it twice and was isolating twice. And I got so much done because the second time round I wasn't even feeling that bad.
That's great. Yes.
So I was working really hard because I figured I've actually got that thing, writers are after, no distractions, and I think a lot of us it really varied hugely between the people who were not sideways and couldn't work, and the people who I always say that my work is kind of born out of fear. I have a really good work ethic because I'm really anxious, basically, and this is how I protect myself against the world. I work, and so yeah, it was an odd time when the world was coming to a stop, but us freelancers were still kind of going, and yeah, it was nice to still have my usual setup and what I always did, unlike so many people who had theirs taken from them. So wow, I think that especially the first lockdown, that was in Britain. That's a time which is going to be so documented, and we're going to have so many dramas about it. And we're only really starting to deal with the fallout from it. Yeah.
I wonder too. So was finishing Saucer Country part of that COVID work experience?
Not actually. I went over to talk to Zoop at a convention after we came out of lockdown, and everything was, getting a little easier. And it's been a relatively swift process. Actually, we haven't been at this for very long at all, because I always knew how the story was going to end, and I had a body of notes already put together on it, all of the answers I had to give and the things that needed to be tied up. And we're quite prescient. Already in the IDW series, a major character had become Vladimir Putin, and so he's back. And we also had Philip K. Dick in that series as well. And it was just really about finding everything that needed to be tied up, and I think we have.
That's great, man. And truly, I hear some people are saying nice things. Wesley says the last few years of Vertigo were just hoarded with great books that would start and not finish. The imprint deserved better. Nice to see Saucer Country completed.
Thank you.
And Dennis also loved Saucer Country. Ryan Kelly is such an underappreciated artist. Well, the two of us agree with you, Dennis.
Oh, and he's, Ryan is getting back to lots of work now. He's very busy. He's doing the Robin Hobb adaptation, and with my friend Jodie Hauser. I think it's a Robin Hobb, the assassin. I should know. Sorry. The art is producing for that and for this is incredible, and I honestly think he's looking better than he ever did.
That's great, man. And DC Patrol has some suggestions. Medieval and Big 2. I would love to see you do Warlord, DC's Warlord. My God,
I would love to do the Warlord. I'm a huge Mike Grohl fan.
Me too, man. And I've had the pleasure of talking to him about everything, but even specifically about Warlord, and just those great ideas for the Inner Earth. And God, I can't believe Neil Adams was never intrigued enough to maybe get involved, because of course his thoughts on the Inner Earth and the growing Earth and all of that stuff, I think it would be up Neil's alley. So
whoa.
Sad but true, man. Come on. What's awesome? Do you know Otto Binder, of course, the great Superman and Legion writer? He was into white noise, hearing spirits. Are you aware of this? Go ahead.
Well, Saucer Country being what it's about, we do a whole issue where we go into the business of 1950s SF fandom, and how one of the big SF magazines became a vehicle for a very specific flying saucer conspiracy theory. And Ray Palmer, who I believe the atom is named after.
That's correct. Absolutely.
Was a huge proponent of a genuinely bizarre UFO mythology, and which was all the rage in the 1950s. It has just gone away, as fashions in UFO mythology do.
It's crazy. My dad had a pizzeria bar here in Chicago, and he had on his the back wall of the bar this great mural of painted in luminous paint of planets and flying saucers and Mercury era rockets and stuff. And it just would blow my mind. And then I always forget. It's like, well, yeah, that was in the zeitgeist back then. Of course he did. Because my dad was a big Submariner fan and a big Shazam fan, big Captain Marvel fan, which I love. But outside of that, it is like, yeah, whatever, And it's like, yeah. And I was a little kid, and I never put two and two together till years after he sold the restaurant. I'm like, oh yeah, he had that awesome sci-fi mural. And again, yeah, it's part from that Cold War period, man.
I think the link there is that the Submariner and Shazam were the fun books. Those leads are having fun, and they're also drawn in a very jaunty style. They're very mainstream comics.
Well, again, we're in the last 48 hours for the complete Saucer Country. So everybody jump over to Zoop, look up the campaign, and if you haven't already helped the guys out, definitely do that. That's great.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. Well, I got to ask because, again, both your association with the property and your pure fandom as well, the big shocker at the end of Doctor Who this year, and we got to wait. We got to wait a year to see what it all means. But I was thrilled. I mean, I'm really excited for the new guy, and I don't remember the new guy's name. Shame on me.
Shuti Gatwa.
Shuti Gatwa. So this is awesome. First Doctor of Color. Second Doctor of Color. First male Doctor of Color because of Joe
Martin.
Joe Martin. Thank you. All right. Now, and again, Paul, but again, it's great to see David Tennant back. It's intriguing to see what they're going to do with it, especially given that it is the 60th anniversary.
Yeah.
Just as a fan, were you aware? Or was this like holy shit for you? I mean, you got buddies over there.
The fandom knew something was up, and I think we did wonder if maybe these were just going to be flashback specials. If it was just going to be, and here's a tale from the past.
Sure.
But I think the general public were startled by a surprise regeneration. And I really like the fact they've kept Shuti in the picture throughout. Literally, he's in the trailer, so something weird is going on. And I'm delighted that Russell's already playing the audience. And, every single thing that man says in public about Doctor Who is part of his art, part of the promotion. And it's been wonderful to see. Getting the general public intrigued and into it. And yeah.
Pretty thrilling that he wants to come back, too, given the years and sweat he put into Doctor Who coming back and everything.
Well, I have no knowledge about what's going to happen, but I wonder if it would be interesting if he played it a different way. If he was he's been revealed to be the 14th Doctor. That's what they're calling him. So he might do the part completely differently, which I think, Dave, that would be really interesting.
So agree. And of course, we know how much Tennant loves the character anyway. Not only his own involvement, but was, again, one of us, a fan growing up, and God marries Peter Davison's daughter and everything. And but I was wondering about Russell coming back. And again, just it's great that he wanted to. I mean, I have no idea what, money or a deal was made, but I'm thrilled that he's back because the man knows the franchise, and it's intriguing. It's going to be fun to watch him come back. Roddenberry was protected, I think, when he came back with Next Generation, and now sadly we're given more details and about his involvement. And again, he was brought in to be the 800-pound gorilla for Paramount when Next Generation happened. And I don't know if you ever saw Chaos on the Bridge.
I don't know anything about the history of Trek, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and again, there's without even needing to go into detail, it'll be fun to see Russell Davies come back to this IP that, again, he had such an important part in directing the general direction since 2005. And now what does he have to say about it? And as you say, will he fake us out? Who knows? This is going to be great.
It's going to be a wild ride. Wow. He's a dear man. He's fierce, but he's fierce to the right people, and he's kind to the right people. And he believes in innocent bystanders as well. And, he's the sort of writer, the sort of showrunner. He's really kind to the waiting staff. He's kind in the canteen. He knows the names of the people who give him his dinner. I think that's the most important thing in the world.
I so agree with you, man. And I love when I see actors and producers react, see old crew people, the people behind the camera, and they're so thrilled to see them. And the teamwork ethic that is obviously necessary for a good production really comes through with those kind of relationships. So it is great to see. Chris says, Russell T. Davies and Tennant missed a great opportunity to have the 14th Doctor use Tennant's natural Scottish accent.
Well, we've only heard one word. I mean, repeated several times. I mean, I don't know, maybe.
But I did like when he was feeling his mouth. He's like, I know these teeth. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
No, that was really, man. And, not since Baker showing up in the 50th anniversary, I think, have we, Tom Baker has, that was such a great surprise. And man, and again, with one word, lost. Shh. Just just classic Tom Baker move of the Doctor. It's like, oh, there he is, man. Of course he's there. And also I have to say, for the final episode of Jodie Whittaker's run, great to see all the former Doctors. I love the way they were used, and the companions, and that almost 12-step round table they had at the end of the episode was so terrific, including the great it's Ian
it's William Russell playing Ian Chesterton.
Exactly, William Russell at 90 whatever, and it's like, oh, that is so great, man. He's still with us, and he's still Ian.
Just got in the Guinness Book for that.
Did he?
Yeah. Because that's the longest gap between playing the same character in a TV show.
Right. Absolutely, man. Oh God. And now, what did I read? Were you involved with an anniversary Big Finish thing recently, or no? Maybe not.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I know there was an anniversary, a Bernice anniversary. Oh no, that was a while back.
Okay.
No, I don't know what that is.
I might have been misreading something from your blog, and I will check and see what I might have gotten wrong. But are you involved at all with Titan, doing any of the comics or anything?
Not at present.
I was going to say you have previously, certainly, yeah.
I mean, I'm friends with everyone. I mean, it's. But I've said I won't be doing Doctor Who, and I've kept my promise for ages now, because I think I've said just about everything I had to say, and also I think when you've worked for a long time in a particular area, it's kind of a duty to step back and let the younger ones come through.
Good for you.
Especially in Big Finish, who do have a pipeline, who are looking for young writers, and that kind of relies on us getting out of those slots. And which is why I say I wouldn't mind doing a non-Doctor Who for Big Finish, because that's a different situation.
Absolutely.
If TV came calling, sure, I'm not going to turn down that gig ever. But apart from that, I think I've done my bit, and I want to, as I've been doing, create a big pile of stuff in my career of all sorts of things. And these days, I don't think I'm just that Doctor Who writer anymore. I'm quite pleased with that.
No, absolutely, man. No, and in fact, I know we've talked in the past. You did a great short story for the Wild Cards collections. And remind me the name of it's an actor-related hero.
She's the understudy.
Absolutely.
Who picks up other people's powers like Wi-Fi. I mean, she's just an endless source of joy for me. I will never stop writing her.
God,
I hope and of course, I did that for Marvel this year. I did the 4-part Wild Cards mini-series for Marvel.
Yeah, that's great, man. And I was wondering, God, because I you keep hearing buzzing that maybe the TV show is in development, and I've seen Melissa talk about it and everything, and George. I mean, God, I hope that they tap you to write an episode or two. That'd be amazing.
Wouldn't say no. I think there's a huge opportunity there, and it's a wonderful universe, and it's different flavor to every other superhero universe.
Absolutely. I've been reading. I've been a fan since the 80s. I've read the books since the 80s, and I do adore them. And like The Boys, they find something new to say about the genre, and have been doing it even longer than Garth and Derek were doing it and everything. So
I think one thing that really works for them is that they're in real time. That the heroes really have gotten old and died and been replaced, and we deal with that. It's brilliant.
No, it really is. It's one of my favorite superhero universes, and just brilliant, folks. If you've never read the Wild Card novels and short stories, I absolutely suggest you do. You'll love them. They're incredible. Well, you've got a couple of future projects coming up that I saw noticed in your blog from TKO, The Witches of World War II. What can you tell us about this one?
So pleased with this. This is coming out early next year. It's historical fiction about a bunch of real life British mystics in the 1940s.
Cool.
And Alistair Crowley at the centre there is one of the group. And rather wonderfully, we've been talking to the organisations that were set up to follow the work of these folk. And we've got loads of research people on board. And they are so pleased to see their people represented. That's Gerald Gardner down there with a white beard, who is the person who discovered Wicca. That is to say, he became a member of a coven in the New Forest and popularized what they called their belief system, Wicca. And Valeria Berzo, the artist, is terrific. She's an Italian artist who's amazing at 1940s costume, and she loves the glamour of that era. And as I say, it's historical fiction, but then I take them onto an ahistorical adventure into Nazi-occupied Europe. So the stakes get really high, and it's about delightful, eccentric belief systems and how that deals with the confronting fascism. And Crowley is rather magnificent in his endless con-mannery. I think I've always been a fan. I think his knowledge of human nature is extraordinary, and he takes the stage magic, what somebody like Derren Brown now does, and actually develops it to a point where it might as well be real magic, because he is such a master of human psychology, and his writings are genuinely profound. They are genuinely insightful. And the others we have there are Dion Fortune and Rollo Ahmed, who seems to have been a genuine con man. Rollo was from the West Indies, but claimed a huge number of different nationalities across the course of his life, but also did genuinely good work in the area of exorcism, of making families feel better. And it's a terrific adventure, and it's got lots and lots of gritty World War II detail to it. It's not actually black and white. It is coloured by the wonderful Geordie Belair.
Oh, wonderful!
And, but the cover is TKO's house style of here's a black and white image. But I've loved the attention to detail, and it's a huge passion project for me. It's a big, serious graphic novel, proper graphic novel, and doing proper graphic novels is kind of where I want to be at now. I've got another one or two in the works as well, and yeah, it's a lovely thing.
That's excellent, man. And TKO has really proven themselves, I think, since coming on the scene. And
Mm.
yeah, I was delighted to hear about this. So looking forward to that graphic novel. March of next year?
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's great, man. And then later in 2023, and this is great. And I also love when my favorite comic writers do novelizations of big events. And yeah, man, they gave you a Secret Invasion. That's fantastic. How
I
did that work,
was
Mark? Or pardon me, Paul? Did you have to pitch them on this? Did they come to you and say, "Well, what are your thoughts on Secret Invasion?"
they came to me, I'm pleased to say, out of the blue, and I think perhaps they wanted somebody who'd written on one of the original crossovers.
Sure.
And so, because I was doing Captain Britain and MI13 in this event, and yeah, it's been a joy because we've got space. What I'm doing is novelizing the original miniseries that forms the spine of the event, but with all sorts of additional material taken from those crossover comics. So basically, anything that informs the main story. We'll go there. We'll see the other parts of the world. We'll see what everybody else is doing, and I get to add so much detail and dialogue, and just generally make it one solid thrill ride. And I tell you what, with catering to those who haven't read the original, not revealing who's a Skrull and who isn't, while doing character, each chapter is from the point of view of a different character. So my initial document to Marvel actually had whose point of view we're going to be in for every chapter.
Sure.
And because that's so necessary in a book like this. Because every time you're at a point of view, basically you're saying, "Oh, that guy's not Skrull." Yeah, it's been lovely to revisit this stuff. I'm a huge fan of Bendis. I gather it's not well received in some quarters, but I loved his Superman run.
Oh, I so hear you.
Immensely.
Yes, I so hear you, Paul. I agree with you.
And I remember loving Secret Invasion at the time and revisiting it. It's been a joy. I'm in the middle of writing this as we speak, actually.
That's great.
And checking in with Secret Invasion every day has been joyous.
That's outstanding, man. Well, honestly, I know I wish I gave you specifics, but your name has certainly come up in my conversations with Brian. And I know he thinks the world of you as well, man. And it's great. So I wondered, and I guess not, if you had any talk with him about doing the novel.
No, I should drop him a line and ask him if there's anything he wants to add or change. I mean, I think that would be rather nice. I should do that.
Oh, that's cool. That's great, man. Now, and again, I think back to other novelizations that Marvel has done. And that's the thing. It's almost unfair to just refer to them as a novelization because, as you say, this is an opportunity to expand the work in the same way that streaming television is a larger canvas than a 2-hour movie or even a 3-hour movie. And that's the thing. So there's a real opportunity here to do more original storytelling.
Yeah. I mean, I'm told I can reimagine to a slight degree. So the license I've taken is just to expand the margins a bit so we can see around the corners of the panels a bit. And there's a sequence where the Skrulls impersonate a whole bunch of celebrities to go on TV and announce their plans. And I've treated this like it's happening now and made those current celebrities rather than the ones that were picked back then.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, things like that, just little things.
Oh man, oh god, and I forget his name. I know you used him in Captain Britain. No. It was your other Marvel Pete Wisdom. It was the Wisdom series where you used John the Skrull, who of course was the Lennon Skrull and everything. Which I just love the idea of that. I didn't remember seeing the original of that. I caught it in P Wisdom, and I'm like, oh, this is such a great idea that a Skrull is being John Lennon. Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, I have taken the opportunity to revisit Captain Britain and MI13 a little in here.
Sure.
And because I thought, well, I'm allowed.
Why not, man? Truly, I loved. It was you and Leonard Kirk, right?
Yeah, wonderful.
One of my favorite collaborations, man. Truly, and especially in Captain Britain when you used Dracula, and it was like, and I mean that seemed like it was the first use of Dracula in years, and it's like, and ever since they every now and then will dip back to Dracula, and it's like Dracula should absolutely be there with Doctor Doom and all the big Marvel baddies because he's Dracula, and it's
Absolutely.
like it's a great opportunity, man.
I really was pleased that sales on the original did tail off towards the end, but Marvel told us how long we were going to get, so we got to do a proper ending.
Okay.
In fact, we didn't have any stories in mind that we didn't tell. We had some vague notes. We thought, oh, we'll get to the Fury, but we didn't really have a lot of detailed stuff. And I'm so proud of that final arc. We actually sold out the first issue of that final arc, but the way comic shops order stuff, it didn't make any difference to our fate, And it's one of those fondly remembered things. I'm so glad I did things like that and Demon Knights that people are, that mean something to people. It's really good.
Absolutely. Captain Midlands, of course, my favorite of the MI13 group and everything. And just that idea that, and it's funny because they kind of have played with it since with Captain Carter, the alternate universe version of Peggy Carter who becomes Cap. And it's like, I kind of like that idea and was that your notion, Paul, that each region would have his own super soldier or something?
Yes. I thought that there would be the odd super soldier up and down Britain. And so that's really cool.
That was awesome.
I do create the kind of character that tends not to be picked up in other versions. I'm quite pleased that Al Ewing, bless him, has kept Fazia Hussein going. But you kind of every time one of mine pops up, I'm like, oh, cool, they're still alive.
I would love a flashback, maybe during the Cold War with Captain Midlands and stuff, So yeah, I think again, it's those kind of characters, and the same with John the Skrull and some of the others, where it's like, oh, there's really like I don't know, I see a lot of potential in a lot of these kind of characters. It's like, oh, I there's tons of stories going on in my head about these people.
I think the likelihood of John the Skrull popping up in the Marvel Secret Invasion TV show is really pretty slim, given the vast copyright problems involved.
Probably, yes, indeed. You're right. Yeah, that's fair. Did you like Yesterday, the movie?
Oh, yeah, I loved it. I mean, I'm a huge Beatles fan, and it's I think actually representing, John the Skrull is a Skrull. He's just a Skrull having fun. It's not an attempt to genuinely represent John Lennon.
No.
Yeah.
No, I realize that. Yeah. I loved in Yesterday the actor that got to be older John Lennon.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that is kind of what he'd look like. Oh man. Yeah. And it was so it was heartbreakingly great. It really was.
And it'd be terrific to have him around now. He would be insufferable. He would be...
Fair enough. Yeah.
Oh, and I once I got to know George Martin a little bit.
Really? How?
He lived nearby me a few years ago. And so we got him along to our local arts festival. And a bunch of us went and sat down with him at his home, and he said, "You see where you're sitting now? Ringo was on that chair a few days ago," and he was absolutely of the opinion that Paul and John would have worked together again. He said that towards the end of John's life, they were on the phone every week.
Oh, that's so great to hear.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. Yeah, now we got Paul and Ringo, for God's sake. I listened to, I don't know if you're aware of this, two Irish guys do this great podcast called Nothing Is Real. and it is a granular look at the Beatles' career, and they hopscotch between time periods. They don't go lineal. So and they'll do chapters, and one will be, all right, here's what happened while they were making the Revolver album, and then here's them in '62 in Hamburg for several episodes, and it's just great. It's really terrific to hear, and they do warts and all, and they also and we all love Paul, we all love all four of them, but Paul does seem to like to whitewash some of the facts and make
I'm a huge Paul fan. I think it's difficult being Paul.
I couldn't imagine. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, they're all in their own way kind of geniuses. And that's the extraordinary thing about that group, that they manage to egg each other on to such heights. But I think in a lot of ways, the hardest path is Paul McCartney's, in that, really he was the one that kept trying to keep the band together. And maybe that was a bad idea at a couple of points there. I think that if they'd all said, let's walk away and do a solo album each and maybe reconvene in 5 years, that might have been healthier.
I hear what you're saying. You had to have loved Get Back on this.
Oh, and I think, again, I love Peter Jackson's motivation for doing that, because he found in those tapes so much friendship and between the band, and we're not meant to be watching that stuff, especially we're not meant to be watching a quite bitterly edited original version of that stuff.
I know it well. Let it be. Absolutely. The movie. Yes, indeed.
And again, them getting to what they needed was time in private, not time with cameras.
Fair enough. You're right. Yeah.
It's there probably is a book about lessons in management from the Beatles, but it's
my favorite weird moment was when Peter Sellers came, and they really had nothing to say to each other.
Yeah.
It's five guys like, all right, nice meeting you. Take it easy.
Yeah, we're kind of busy. Yeah.
Outstanding, man. Too funny. And again, I don't want you to spoil if you can't speak of anything, but might we see something from you in the streaming arena?
Oh, you never know. I'm always pitching stuff. Stuff's always going on behind the scenes, and stuff's got really exciting in the last few weeks. So there's always something around the corner, and it's. I'm having a very good year, and that's been. Thank you so much to the audience. Thank you.
Well, hey man, that's great. And listen, it's great work. Certainly, again, 48 hours left to check out the complete Saucer Country collection. It's at Zoop. So if you go to Zoop and look for the campaign, you can still contribute. We mentioned the stuff that's coming up, but of course, right now, Splinter Cell right now available. And I'm going to get the press release back up here. It's broadcast every Friday on Radio 4 at 2:15 in the afternoon. But all the episodes available to download or listen to free now on the BBC Sounds page and in the Limelight podcast feed. So make sure you take advantage of that and enjoy this incredible military intelligence, espionage, great action thriller. Co-written by our buddy Paul Cornell. Well done, dude. I'm so excited for you. And
thank you so much.
And we've got a great reason to convene in, maybe February or March about the TKO graphic novel, The Witches of World War II.
I very much look forward to it.
And we can review the full series and talk more about Splinter Cell. Hey, and by the way, it's not only available right now, and you should take advantage of that, but according to the website, it's going to be available at least for a year or so. So,
yeah, it sticks. BBC Radio sticks around.
So there you go. Paul, as always, great conversation. Love. Hey, real fast, excuse me, because I did want to mention this. What's happening with your Hammer podcast?
Oh, well, yes, Hammer House of Podcast. Me and Lisbeth Miles watching the Hammer horror movies in UK release order. We've got about 2 years left to go. It's still going strong. We're now watching for our patrons. We're watching the Edgar Allan Poe, Vincent Price movies. And go have a look at Hammer House of Podcast. We've now got a huge back catalogue of episodes.
Outstanding, man. No, and again, I loved your previous podcast as well, your panel show that you did. So yeah. Oh no, Paul, you know what you're doing, and that's great, man. It's like so I'm always happy to talk to people that know what they're doing.
Bless you, John. Thank you so much.
As always, man. No, great conversation. Please stay in touch, and we'll reconvene in the early part of 2023.
Indeed.
Everybody, thanks a lot, everybody, for watching. Later tonight, and this might intrigue Paul, although he'll be fast asleep. It's going to be in the middle of the night, British time. But we're going to be talking. Gabe Hardman, Ian Brill, and myself are going to be doing movie reviews of Yojimbo and, of course, Fistful of Dollars, the spaghetti western remake of Yojimbo, despite Kurosawa going, hey, nobody told me. I think I'm owed some money here. But so that'll be a fun discussion tonight on our Scene Missing podcast here at Word Balloon. So I hope you'll join us for that. And tomorrow I'm recording a conversation with Jeff Johns about the wrap up to Stargirl this season, and also some new comic book stuff that Jeff has got going on. And that'll be on Thursday. So there you go, everybody. There's the Word Balloon slate for the week. Thanks for watching. Everybody stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.